You ever walk through a city and get that weird feeling you've stepped into the past, but also, somehow, the future? Well, there's a style of architecture hiding in plain sight that does exactly that. It's all over our skyscrapers, our old movie theaters, and it defines some of the most famous skylines in the world. So today, we're going to go on a hunt for Art Deco. The answer? They're all incredible showcases of the exact same design movement. They all speak this secret language of glamour, progress, and just pure, bold ambition, all written in steel and stone. So let's decode it. Okay, so what is it that makes an Art Deco building? Well, Art Deco. Let's break down the visual DNA of this style. It was basically a vision of the future as imagined about a century ago. At its core, Art Deco is just pure, unapologetic optimism. It's a style born from a world that was absolutely obsessed with speed, with innovation, and with this idea of boundless potential. So forget quiet and subtle. This style was loud, it was luxurious, and it was completely in love with the promise of the machine age. Now, this is super important because a lot of people get this mixed up. Before Deco, the big thing was Art Nouveau, which was all about nature, these wild, flowing, plant-like curves. Art Deco came along and was like, nope, we're doing the exact opposite. It traded all that organic chaos for machine-made order. Sharp angles, clean lines, and perfect symmetry. So you might be wondering, where did this dramatic shift even come from? I mean, a style this bold doesn't just pop up out of nowhere, right? It was absolutely born from a very specific time and place. Okay, so picture the world right after World War I. There's this massive explosion of energy, of wealth, and this huge desire to just build a brand new modern world. We're talking the Roaring '20s. The style actually gets its name from a huge design fair in Paris back in 1925, and boom. For the next decade, this becomes the look for anything modern all around the world. You have to remember, this was the machine age. Architects and designers were literally fascinated by the power of cars and planes and giant factories. They actually saw beauty in things like pistons and gears, so they grabbed onto new materials like steel and reinforced concrete, not just to build higher, but to create buildings that looked and felt like the powerful machines they were so inspired by. All right, you ready for the fun part? Let's put together a little toolkit for you, kind of like an Art Deco spotter's guide, so the next time you're out, you can find these gems for yourself. First thing you want to look for is the geometry. Notice the really strong symmetrical lines and those sharp repeating patterns. Those are your zigzags and chevrons. Then look for motifs that just scream energy. See that sunburst way up top? Or those lightning bolts right by the door? I mean, come on, that is pure Art Deco. It's all about this new electric, supercharged age. Okay, so let's see how all this stuff actually comes together to make a building. First up, you get these awesome stepped shapes that kind of look like ancient pyramids or ziggurats. And here's a cool little fun fact for you. That design was actually a clever workaround for new zoning laws in cities like New York that were meant to let more light get down to the street. Then you slap on a clean flat roof, a super dramatic entrance, and top it all off with a decorative spire that looks like it's trying to poke a hole in the sky. And the final piece of the puzzle? The materials and colors. So you've got these really industrial, modern things like steel and concrete, but, and this is key, they're mixed with these unbelievably luxurious finishes. Bold golds and silvers, deep blacks. Or if you're in a tropical spot like Miami, you'll see all those vibrant pastel colors. It's that exact combination, machine-age grit meets high-end glamour, that is the essence of Art Deco. And hey, don't think this was just some American or European thing. No way. The appeal of Art Deco went global. So let's take a super quick world tour. I mean, where else could we start? You have to start here. The Chrysler Building, it's not just an icon of New York. It might be the most perfect example of Art Deco ever. Just look at that crown. It's designed to look like a sunburst. And get this, those metallic eagles, they're based on car hood ornaments. It's just this perfect, shiny tribute to the automobile age dreamed up by William Van Allen. Then, just a little walk away, you've got Rockefeller Center. And this isn't just one building, it's a whole complex, basically a city within a city, from Raymond Hood and his team. Now, it's not as flashy as the Chrysler Building for sure, but the sheer size of it, the way it's all designed as one big piece, man, that really shows you the power this style had to literally shape a modern city. But like I said, Art Deco's reach was global, and you really can't find a better example than Mumbai. Seriously, the city has one of the biggest and most amazing collections of Art Deco buildings on the entire planet. Check out these apartment buildings along Marine Drive. See those curved balconies? They call them eyebrows. It's this incredible, tropical twist on the style, pioneered by local architects like G.B. Mahatra. So what kind of buildings did they use this style on the most? Well, this chart is pretty telling. 40% for skyscrapers. Yeah, not a surprise. Those soaring vertical lines were basically made for scraping the sky. And another 25% for cinemas and theaters. That makes total sense, right? I mean, what style could possibly be better for capturing all the glamour and fantasy of Hollywood's golden age? Okay, so why do we still care? Why are we still so obsessed with a style that's almost 100 years old? What's its real lasting legacy? I think this quote really nails it. Art Deco was kind of the perfect bridge. It wasn't super stark and minimalist like the modernism that came later, but it was definitely a huge break from all the old-fashioned styles that came before it. It somehow managed to be both ornate and sleek, all at the same time. When it comes down to it, the legacy of Art Deco is literally written in the skylines of our cities. It gave us the skyscraper as we think of it today. It created this whole visual language for modern that designers are still borrowing from. It showed us that a building could be practical and totally glamorous at the same time, a machine for living, but also a piece of art. So next time you're out walking in a city, just look up. Seriously, look for those zigzags, those sunbursts, those lines shooting up into the sky. You'll start seeing this really optimistic vision of the future everywhere. And that kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on. Art Deco was their vision of the future. What's going to be the style that people look back on in 100 years to understand our time?